Hello, 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 and welcome back to Dust2 G2 Esports taking on Copenhagen Flames here for your amusement. We are looking at map number 2, and oh, Dean, my X-ray's gone again. We're gonna have to fix that in just a little minute.
Oh yeah, you'll have to put in the same commands, just realize mine is the same too, but yeah, we will fix it after this round or when we get an opportunity on something like an eco. But for now, I will have to have a look at the map to see exactly what is going on here for the T side, and they are mostly focused on just getting the short control right now. Nothing too crazy coming in. We're seeing all the third-person angles from the fancy observer. You can see he has this set up perfectly just to follow them as they move forward. For the moment though, the CTs aren't really holding anything special themselves. They have the two players up on long, so this would give the opportunity for G2 if they were to move up through short quickly to get on towards the bomb site. But with their current position, I think they do want to also go towards long, but look at this aggression. Nodio's going out is going to be caught, and this gives them a perfect opportunity to just go ahead and sandwich that A bomb site now. It's going to be all onto Farlick here, close on long, actually finds two. How the hell has he managed to get that done? Looking for more, and thankfully for the sake of G2 will be denied.
Well, G2 have got the bomb, but they've got to cross over with it now. It's a bit of a problem. Nexa lobbing it, but it's still out in the open. Luckily, no one's pushed past that smoke. They're all grouped up on short and looking to move on forward. Copenhagen Flames moving in as a unit, a three-man. They've got a kit to play with as well. Oh, nice shot by Hunter. He's going up for more. Can't land it. They now know both players are there. Right, well, they do now. Hunter tapping them away with a P250. Going out for the finale, and he manages it as well. What a round from him. 3 kills on the board. If you excuse me just 2 seconds, I'm going to throw back over to the pause screen just to get these screens fixed. Get our X-ray back on.
Damn it, we should have put that command into our chat so it'd be easier to find. Ah, all good.
Alright, there we go. Looks like we're all good to go. And back in we come. In a second. Pressed the wrong button. There you go. We missed nothing except for the buy phase where we saw G2 taking up MAC-10s and an AK-47. And Copenhagen Flames, on the other hand, they've gone in for their Deagles alongside Scoots. This should be a pretty interesting round, actually. You can see that G2 have got the opportunities to rush in there and find some decent up-close damage. But at the same time, Copenhagen Flames have got damage output for days. If the scout tags up one player, it makes it very, very easy for anyone else to take them down.
Yeah, I don't imagine that G2 are really going to be looking to challenge on too many of those long-range angles, though, considering that they do have 4 MAC-10s. Obviously, there'll still be some opportunities if Farlick does play a little bit more aggressive, trying to get those picks, which he was here initially towards the mid-doors. Getting smoked off, though, I don't really think he's going to be looking to do that anymore. Instead, now, it's actually Refresh who gets up close. I was worried he was going to push through. I mean, nothing too crazy happening from G2, knowing that they're going to be up against this force by obviously taking things slower again, expecting maybe some aggression to come in. They've been able to find that short control, at least there early in the round, giving themselves options. But they don't have that long to actually make a decision about where they want to end this. And as they are, of course, favoring again on towards short, you would imagine that they will go towards A. And right now, 2 players stacked towards B, as well as the 2-man stack that was up close on the mid-doors, of course. So if they go over towards that A bomb site, it's only Nodio's down on long with a Deagle to try and actually put in any sort of a defense, really. And even then, I don't think that would be allowed. So, I mean, once this bomb gets planted, Copenhagen Flames could immediately be considering that save. And you can see, indeed, they've actually just kept the 4 players back on B.
I really like the decision-making from Copenhagen Flames. Just conceding this one, knowing that they'll be fighting from a deficit. Instead, now in the next round, they can stack up, because if they fought in this one, they all died, they'd be eco anyways. They wouldn't have the cash. So now they get a chance to stack up yet again in the next round or spread out into defaults, but to fight on even footing, which is where they want to be. That means the bomb will explode. G2 might even be caught on the exit a little bit. Farlick is being tagged up to start this one off, so he actually stays kind of aggressive, looking for the feed as they cross over. And Nodio's completely backed out of long, not looking to contest. Looked like Farlick's finding anything, so yeah. Everybody's surviving on this one. G2 have walked away with a little bit of money built up at least, but the 4 MAC-10s that they've got in play, ideally they did want to be forcing Copenhagen Flames down to an eco. This is a big loss for the T side, because that's a lot of money that they now haven't earned by not killing the 5 players.
Yeah, I think we'll probably just see them again take another gamble. I don't know if it'll be the exact same thing this time, sending 2 players over towards potentially getting that long control in the beginning. Yeah, a bit more standard this time, I suppose. Nothing too crazy coming in. But again, their goal just being to try and at least get a couple kills out of this one. Do a bit of damage, obviously having survived the 5 themselves, having kept these weapons in, but also allowing G2 to do the same. So they've had a good opportunity to get a little bit of their own money. Unfortunately, obviously, they weren't able to add anything to their bank using those SMGs. So this is the round where they need to start trying to do that to make them worthwhile. And already a small bit of damage there actually being dealt out by Kenny S. Farlig right now may have a second opportunity. Hunter was looking like he was tempted to try and probe around this mid area. But again, G2, now that they have the short control, they really aren't too pressured to make the first move happen because obviously with a minute and 10 seconds remaining, with the weapons being in their advantage, it's Copenhagen Flames who are pretty soon going to begin to feel a little bit restrained by the fact that they are restricted a little bit on that info. Amanek, though, did get spotted jumping across. Another opportunity. Kenny S gets actually followed up on there with the second shot and another one being connected towards next. And this is great damage so far. Will they be able to find any more kills off the back of it, though, is the question as they begin to move towards A, where it's only going to be Queenix to hold down.
No flash went around. Queenix able to make it up nice and close. Spamming through the smoke on the Deagle. He gets one, not good onto Amanek, though. With Nexa and Hunter both low, this is definitely a winnable round. Hooksy's managed to retrieve the scout. Will make his way towards long, I would presume. Yeah. Well, Nodios has the opportunity to come up through short. See what he can get done there. There is a UMP on the ground, but these weapons aren't going to be useful in the next. The fact that they can obviously invest up into M4s, you wouldn't imagine a save is going to be the goal for Copenhagen Flames. No kit currently in play. And this push on short show. Nodios tucked away enough to avoid being double peaked, actually. But still, Hunter wins that duel, despite his super low HP, now on just one. And Amanek, although tagged, is 100 HP. The 3 players surviving for G2. Really, that only impacts the armor. I would expect both Amanek and Hunter to buy into M4s here, or AKs. But as I say that, though, I realize 2 of their teammates are going to have AKs. They've got an AWP. If they want, they could just save over the money and allow the AKs to take those opening duels. They can play more aggressively, like entering into short to get themselves the map control. And it's not too much of a deficit to play with. If it was the CT side, they would kind of be forced into investing, but the fact that they don't have to gamble on winning duels heads up is a little bit better for them.
Yeah, I like that they just kept those 2 Mac 10s, as you said. Having actually lost 2 players is never ideal, but it did also give them the ability, of course, where they were going for 2 AKs, so it made keeping those SMGs a little bit more feasible that they did actually have left over. Again, though, nothing crazy from G2, just spreading out, going for this default, being able to find that short control quite early. This time, Copenhagen Flames, again, do get a player down on long and across into the pit, so they're at least able to control this area of the A side of the map. But with so much time left on the clock, with that pressure already being found towards short, it gives some opportunities, obviously, for G2 to really just kind of split out and keep on playing this default and see where they can work picks. Look how aggressive Farlig is getting. We pointed out, obviously, on Inferno that he was very ballsy with the aggression that he was willing to go for. We'll actually spot the head of Hunter there. Unfortunately, Kenny S was ready to follow up quickly, and with that now, we will see G2 just wanting to commit forward, refreshing Goose, that 1 player down on long. Will have to be called in to try and give him a hand, and unfortunately, it won't be quick enough because already Refresh has gone down with absolutely no defense coming through. Dios picks off 1 at least, but the bomb now being planted. A 3-on-3 after plant here for G2.
Jax is low, but has managed to make it back to short, just holding the back. As Copenhagen Flames look to move up through CT, they're in a bit of danger. There's a lot of players along this walkway that could peek up and take him down. Rushing into the site quite quickly. A fight comes down. Nexus takes his opportunity to swing, but can't find anything. And Jax, the player that was on 50, is now in a 1v2. Bomb planted for him, but he's being held. He's going to have to win 2 duels as he swings out. They're not sticking it, and that works out for him. He's able to take the first kill, but Queenix afterwards has got time to defuse that bomb. And the first round on the board for Copenhagen Flames. A solid retake. G2 being contested is what we needed to see for Copenhagen Flames. Remember, this is the map pick of G2, and Copenhagen Flames are already 1-0 in the lead, so this is very risky. Having to make it happen, the reverse sweep starting on Dust2, it's not an ideal situation because things can get out of control so quickly here. We don't know of many teams that are Dust2 specialists. Just not there's not as much depth to the map itself, but that does lend itself towards the I guess in general the more structured teams don't play as well when we look at, I mean, if you're going to prepare a lot, if you're a strat heavy team, you know, Dust isn't really where you want to be. Even a Mirage would be better for you. But G2, they believe in their calls. Their mid-round calls are strong enough. Their ability as individuals as well in terms of taking aim duels. should be out in front as well. I guess that's the reason for picking it, but it is always a gamble.
As you pointed out, Farley, Queenix, and Refresh have been playing insane though throughout this series so far, at least back on the first map. So if they can keep that up, I do think it will be a very competitive one. Farley not actually connecting that shot right there towards Kenny on top mid. Like a massive opportunity for him. Must have been just a tiny bit off, perhaps moved before the shot was actually put out itself. So for now, it does still just remain in this 5-on-5, and G2 again having the map control. I mean, this hasn't been an issue for them. We've seen Copenhagen Flames with an overall passive setup. This time, though, they are reacting to having actually, of course, kind of lost the area around mid. They've pushed 2 players up a little bit in tunnels. They're going for that long aggression as well. The issue is G2 currently are watching these positions. The extremities of the map being held. Refresh at least gets that one trade, and now he's going to actually begin to make his way around into Suicide. I think you can spot those players making their way up towards Short. Unfortunately, his teammate towards the A-bomb site already fallen. Eventually will tap one down, but they've lost A. So the bomb should be planted quite easily, and again, it's going to have to come down to this retake now for Copenhagen Flames.
A nade out, but he's now taken down, baited into Farley. That worked out by accident so well. Kenny S in trouble. Let's see the player coming around short, but can't connect the shot. And all of a sudden, Jax is by himself yet again in a 1v2. This time, he's on the side, and they have to push into him. The molly does damage to Refresh, putting him on 13 health. But he's got a teammate there to trade out. Head peeking works out pretty well as they close in towards the site. Down goes Refresh. Farley now all alone, taps the bomb. The swing up from Jackson. He gets the headshot to close it out. 4 on the board for G2, but just barely.
Yeah, definitely keeping us on the edge of our chairs at this point. The rounds being, or at least the last couple of rounds being extremely close. Coming down to those one-on-ones. And, I mean, with that round, though, G2 have, again, put the economy of Copenhagen Flames into a position where they will have to just take that eco. A few pistols could perhaps be upgraded because they do have 2,900 loss bonus coming into that next round. But they decide against it. Instead, sticking on the USPs, they're going to boost up stack around short, which, as we've seen, pretty much every round so far has had presence from the T side. The issue is now, as they've sent 2 players in towards being scouted that out, they realize that they don't really have to go anywhere else. They could have brought it back, or they can just shut down everyone who pushes up short first. That works too.
Yeah, who needs to think about things if you're hitting heads like that? Thing is, now Copenhagen Flames come in with a buy. This is where we could see things turn around yet again. Farley can get an AWP for himself. I don't think we'll see the double op setup coming out. Not even just in this round, but in general. Not something that you see Copenhagen Flames deploy too much. But it might come out eventually as desperation. 5 on the board. G2 are leading the charge. But we always talk about the early half. How it's not as defining as you would think. When the buy rounds come out, when things are looking solid. And take a turn for the worse for the team that's ahead. Copenhagen Flames going in for early short aggression. Can't spot anyone out just yet. Hunter's making a lot of noise, so they're just going to fall back. Don't want to get caught by the player jumping on top of Xbox.
With an MP7 though, Hunter, I was going to say, if he wasn't able to get up close like this, then he probably couldn't do too much, but he did close in the distance. He wasn't being held. With that, has actually forced Farley back to the spawn and gotten the kill for himself. And in the meantime, G2 rush out long and are able to get that control also. That's the A-bomb site gone. If they don't get a kill in a couple of seconds or while the T's are trying to cross over, then I definitely think the save just has to be called for, and I think they might have already done so. Indeed, especially as you see Refresh backing away with the op. He wants nothing to do with this retake. So the bomb is going to go down. That's going to be another round going over to G2. It's about to be 6-1. This is certainly resurgence in form in comparison to what we see in back on Inferno from them. Hunter only having an MP7, he can go try and hunt this. If he can take even one more weapon out of their hands, then that is going to put them in a lot of trouble. Because obviously with the full loss bonus right now, they could drop rifles over to the 2 players that went down. But if they lose 1 player even at that point, then they don't have enough to get everyone the weapons that they'd want. So they could certainly do some damage to the next round investment. Not too bothered with it though. Hunter, he's an M4 here on long that he's just going to take an upgrade too.
With all 5 players surviving, this is not what Copenhagen Flames are hoping for. G2 end up with a massive bankroll at their backs. Only having to invest into not even that much utility overall. Their investment's going to be below 4K. It's not true. It's below 5K, but still. I had to go buying pistols as well. The, the way things are panning out at the moment, G2 are obviously happy to have this recovery, but it is important to keep connecting it. Even with the money they've got at their backs, 6 rounds on Dust2 isn't as big a lead as it is on any other. Oh, Farlig, hello. There's Kenny S. Drop towards top mid. Get out of here before G2 start to get antsy and pressure in. They're going to stick around and look for those duels. Ever confident.
Yeah, it doesn't really need to now that they have the advantage, but you also don't really want to give up that mid control. He is going to start falling back in towards the spawn and actually up towards A. I think he'll just try and sit on the corner, maybe expecting them to go back to what had been working, which is the short push, which is still definitely potential. I mean, they have Nexa holding for the long aggression, 2 players around short, 1 holding for tunnels, thinking that maybe Copenhagen Flames will give them some sort of opportunity. But at this point, I don't think the Danes are really going to be making that mistake and giving up any picks to allow G2 to have an opening back into this round. They will just keep running down the time as much as they can, and of course force G2 to make the first push from this point forward.
And it looks like you might be right, Dean, with the going back to what works. The smoke's coming out on short. The bomb yet to be retrieved, and only 1 player around here, so that's a drop into CT for a late B hit. He's being tagged on his way down, losing a little bit of health, I think, even to the drop. Player up in the window, the flash is perfect, and there's a frag. Not being returned on. Queenix goes back out for more, and he gets it. Hooksy now tucked up close as the smoke's about to fade. They take down Queenix, but they've got Hooksy to worry about. He's got 1, and Nexa's known to be coming through the window, or doors at least. Now window as he's spotted and tagged up, but it looks like he's going to get a bomb plant. 28 HP left. That nade is not perfect. Actually bounces back off the wall. What an angle. 1v3.
I mean, if he was in the corner, it would have been perfect, but Nexa, I mean, he could still potentially win this if he can force the one-on-one against the Wolves right now. There is the opportunity, but sadly, that's the op that he has to face into, and Farlig just posted up on the angle, won't let it happen. Second round for Copenhagen Flames. That was absolutely massive from Queenix to be able to get that double kill. I'm not sure exactly who should have flash over, but they were fantastic. He was able to get the double, as I had said, giving up the mid control once Farlig got that opening kill. Could have been a little bit of an issue, especially with that CT drop, because it massively slows down any rotations. So they needed those B players to come up huge, and that's exactly what they got.
Yeah, that was Hooksy in with the support flashes from over close at tunnels, which is another surprise as to how they didn't hear that the flash being thrown, because he obviously caught them completely by surprise afterwards. Solid
True,
stuff.
A little weird.
The fact that they're able to, in the end though, get the bomb plant down, that only further bolsters down their economy. It gives them another round essentially where they can lose this one and still get a convincing buyout. Early though, Copenhagen Flames changing strategy. They've gone with the tunnels push. Farlig not good for 1. They don't expect Queenix, but they deal with them anyways.
Oh no. This just isn't going well. I like the idea of the switch up, or realizing that obviously when they weren't just playing their default setup, that wasn't working, so they want to try and be a little bit inventive with their approach. We've seen the previous round, obviously they started with the short aggression, and that didn't really work out. So I mean, trying something here, going towards lower tunnels. It did look like that first op shot was connected by Farlig, a little bit unfortunate. But from that point forward, all of the frags for G2, a 5-on-2. There's still plenty of time. They're not even in a rush at this point. They can just wait and try and actually find out where these players are located to make the best decision and minimize the chance of giving any opportunity for Copenhagen Flames to fight back into this round. Again, that short control eventually being found as well for the T side to open up the extra opportunities of what they can really do. They are going to peek out and probably realize the A-bomb site itself is clear. Nadios was around the corner just a moment ago, but has for now transitioned over towards long. I don't mind that. He was hoping maybe that if they were coming in, they'd try and come out through long. At that point, they'd have a choke point where he'd have a better chance to maybe pick up 2 or 3 kills. But now he doesn't realize that they're already on the bomb site, so he is screwed. And there we go. This round is now over. Hooksy going to be left to just try and save his M4. And even then, I don't know if that'll be allowed. There's still a lurker over in the tunnels even.
The timing was so bad for Nodios as he went back over. Hooksy, not in the best of spots either, looks to clear the back of tunnels, and MNX already pushed up close. 7 on the board for G2, not suffering significant losses. And this has been a lights-out series from the whole team, or map, I should say, from the whole team. Maybe not on the previous. Definitely seeing Copenhagen Flames struggle a little bit. A good thing that Farlig is turning up now at the AWP, but the problem is, from Queenix, from Refresh, we've come to expect a lot more. Hooksy has gone into a Spartan-like form, and he's being tagged up. Luckily, his Spartan armor protected him from that AWP shot killing him, but left on 13 health. Master Chief 117 is not a... He ain't looking like he's going to be winning a lot of duels in this round with that kind of HP. And a FAMAS.
No, that's definitely not ideal. I mean, I wouldn't even recommend taking the op even being low health, just because then you're taking it away from Fire League, and you need it in his hands. Maybe if they had a secondary one, it wouldn't have been a bad shout, but yeah, not a good position for them to kick this round off, considering how massively they are down right now and how much they rely on fighting back into this one here. Otherwise, they will be looking at an eco in the next, most likely. Next to not realizing that Naughty has pushed in towards the long doors already, I don't believe. I wouldn't imagine he'll really try and get too aggressive unless they see commitment coming in elsewhere or a lot of pressure being shown. So for now, he is just going to stick around these doors and has a decent position if they eventually do try and move in. But for now, as you would expect, G2 not going for anything crazy. It's Dust2 sticking with that default, the short control coming in, pressuring around mid, and just waiting to see if either sides of the map do get pushed on by the CT once that pressure is shown. Naughty's again, as I said, being up close. There's so many players now actually holding this. 2 of them. There was a turret nearby. They will try and just move forward. As do this. Shadow being spotted, and there we go. That's the bomb. 2 quick kills being found, as well as control of that bomb with 25 seconds left at this point. Naughty's pretty much cannot lose this round for them. He has to, he could just back away and they wouldn't have time to actually retrieve the bomb and get into his sight. So this is done.
It absolutely is. Copenhagen Flames have taken the round, a third on the board. G2 looking to save over those 2 AKs. And doesn't look like they'll be hunted down after time either. So a nice clean one for Copenhagen. And they actually get a huge benefit surviving with all 5 players as well. Their money is up. Hooksy somehow... He's made it through without dying. He was 13 HP within the first 5 seconds of the round.
Yeah, well, he never really got spotted again, I don't believe. He's kind of just chilling.
Chilling and, well, not killing. Not quite,
chilling,
but
not killing.
He's trying.
He's a pacifist.
Gotta give him the respect for trying. G2, they've come in with another decent buy. 3 men going early on towards tunnels. They've left the bomb in spawn. It'll be rotated over with in just a bit. Smoke down on short, so there's definitely going to be lower tunnels presence coming through from the T side. And so we're not seeing a faster round playing out. Little boost up above. Not seeing anyone. And they know at this point the Copenhagen Flames have abandoned their aggressive tendencies that we saw before, where they pushed down lower tunnels in short and got 0 out of 3 aim duels.
Yeah, that one didn't go well for them. Not really looking to keep that aggression up once again, I suppose, since it didn't, going back to what worked in that previous round. Even then, though, that one was massive. They relied on a pretty big individual play, so I'm still quite worried. G2, they have a good bit of economy in the bank to be able to have another couple attempts at the gun rounds here to at least keep the damage on and at any point break their economy and just start running away with their T side once again. For now, just that short control being found by G2. I feel like I'm repeating myself every round, but I mean, there's not a lot else that you do on Dust2. If you're playing it slow, normally you'll slow it down, go for that short control a little bit later on, or you might get the Xbox smoke down quickly. If you're going for, if you have a good spawn for long, you might rush out in the beginning, which is something we haven't really seen from them. And that drop again into the CT spawn, this time going for the B split with all 5 players alive. And it is, again, just these 2 defenders that actually hold down on this side of the map. This time not really in positions to challenge before they get up close either. He does try and swing out, but he's a little bit late. And the flash just didn't work in their favor. Hunter gets a double. That's the B-bomb site gone. And very likely this round done for Copenhagen Flames.
Jax dropped down into CT early on, but as we saw, decided to just stick around and catch the A player after B was overrun. Amanek going out just in time, but he was heard. As Farlick picks one down towards mid doors, they have no idea Hunter's here, but he's being checked anyways. They're playing a Nodios for swinging on such an angle. G2 lost a lot of players despite having themselves a round win pretty much guaranteed. You can see they're still having to commit on the site, just in case Copenhagen Flames go for it. No time left. Jax has managed to cross over. He'll survive this, but so that should have been much more convincing for G2 how it started. We're not that close to the end of the game, or the end of the half, excuse me, that G2 can't be screwed over on money, but with how the rounds have been going so far, I wouldn't have too much faith. I mean, Copenhagen Flames need to bring this up to at least 6. For that to happen, they've got at least one more buy round after this one between them and that goal.
Yeah, it is D2, so as you said, 6 is normally a decent score. It's a map that really can flip either way. It can be slightly favored to the T's or the CTs, depending on the matchup. Right now, G2 definitely looking like the much more favored team. I mean, Kenny S just taking that long spawn, dropping Farlig early on, who has been a very impactful player in the rounds that we have actually seen Copenhagen Flames winning. So that's a massive loss for them to suffer this early on in the round. And G2 again just taking that short control immediately. Long being given up as well by the CTs. So in theory, with how much time there is left, they could also go back and get that at some point. Have the pincer in towards that A-bomb site. But I think for now we may just see them slow it down a little bit. Waiting to see if Copenhagen Flames are going to try and make any plays. Now they are in a tough spot. Refresh unfortunately not connecting that up shot. He may have some more opportunities quite soon. Huxley does find the drop in the CT spawn. I believe that was. The flash in, though, allowing for Hunter to return the trade. And there's still 2 players over towards this B-bomb site, so that is a pretty big positive here for the CTs. And it's Queenix again who's able to find themselves that one from the window. Slowing down this push for G2. It looks like they still want to favor around mid. Especially now as they've lost the short control. This is a big issue. They might want to move back in this direction, but Nadios may not be expected. Oh. Oh no, he's been spotted, yeah. Here, of course, Nexiter jumping up on the box, or rather, Kenny S jumping up on the box, and then Nexit to his side just had a free kill. All on Queenix, rotating in behind short pretty quickly, so he may be able to catch one potentially. Drop it to the one-on-one. Bomb is being planted now and should be put in place easily, yeah, indeed. So very difficult to flush now. That nade does a small bit of damage, nothing too substantial, but it does help out for the one M4 bullet to the head to be effective. A kit available, a flash as well. Kenny S right now just playing up close to the smoke. Is already tagged. Actually has his pistol in hand. Fortunately for him, Queenix had his knife out, almost able to get the M4 back, but not quite in time. Was B hopping around, seeing if he could matrix those bullets, but it didn't work. 9-3. G2 managed to pick up another gun round, and as we can see, without any weapons being saved, the economy is in tatters right now for Copenhagen Flames. They can just about scrape together to buy on 2 players. Other than that, though, we're going to see a few FAMASs having to come out, and very few nades.
Oh, it's very unfortunate for Queenix jumping down, presuming he was on long. I like the adaptation from Copenhagen Flames. They're not seeing any early long contact, so they decided to just completely concede it. Realizing that G2, whenever they've pushed A, they've been coming almost exclusively through short, and whenever they've gone B, well, they've at least taken short as well and gone down into CT. So they play on site, 1 in CT and the 2B after losing that opening duel with Farlig. But as we saw, that didn't matter. Some unfortunate mishaps in the 2 versus 2 to give it away. Now it's still a full buy, but the end of the tether, the last bit of economy, bit of money that they've got. The CT side have got an AWP on Farlig that they went early down towards short with to try and peek into tunnels, but didn't get there quite in time. Hunter was already at the Xbox. Now jumping up on top of it and seizing some short control. Copenhagen Flames are starting to go back over here. Farlig posted on the corner and looking to take the duel. As Hunter comes around, he's got support in case he gets rushed down. Refreshed to tuck up closer. We can cover the retreat. He's been spotted, actually. Now they kind of want to fall back. Farlig sticks around, and he gets a kill for it.
Oh, is he going to go back into the angle? Nah, not quite. We're just holding the weight and see if anyone tried to actually chase that one up. Potentially allow for them to extend the advantage even further. But no, G2 instead going to actually focus this on mid. No split's going to be coming in. Obviously not having short, but at least not through the CT one. Most of the focus will be around mid, and then one player left. Yet to move forward. That's allowed for the CTs to fully focus on mid. Only now will Amanek begin to go out on towards the site itself. Will find the control, but Kenny S is extremely low, and the bomb obviously being dropped in mid. They do have to work to try and retrieve it. So this is one of the better positions we've seen Copenhagen Flames have for quite a while. Amanek spots that up in the CT spawn, but nothing that they can do about it at this point. There's 5 seconds left. And I don't think they'll be hunted down, and they'll hunt down and attempt to actually kill them after time just because the CTs don't have the money themselves. So yeah, they're not going to bother with that. If they had, I would have been worried.
You see the impact player of that round, Queenix, on your screen. The brightness is a little bit low, but he's there somewhere. 9-4, 2 rounds in between the end of the half, and essentially deciding whether Copenhagen Flames are in a playable spot. Getting to 6 is definitely their goal. It's what they need, as I said about 5 rounds ago, and we'll see if they manage to make it all the way. Their economy won't be great if they lose this one either. You can see the reinvestment has definitely hurt them, even without losing those players in the final stage. Nice on by Refresh, though. He picks up 1. Somehow the kills are going back. With Hunter elsewhere, the leading Refresh. Smoke down on the cross. Kenny S catches them in middle. They've got B. They've got the crossover as well. The rotates being covered as Kenny leaves. prompted backwards by the flashes he heard coming through, but still a man advantage, and the B retake for Copenhagen Flames does not look good at all.
No, I mean, I'm surprised they're moving in for this. Ideally, they would have wanted to have saved these weapons for the following round, but I guess kind of needing this round as well in order to actually come out with a half they can be happy with. That Molotov not going as deep as I would imagine it was intended. Now just going to actually block off one of their angles of attack. So yeah, immediately it has to be called back away. And up in an AK that they can carry into this next round, they'll get 2,400 into it as well. So with that, Nautilus can actually drop over a rifle that Refresh and Firelight can buy for themselves. So it's not going to be the worst buy we've ever seen. They actually can scrape together a somewhat decent investment thanks to saving over the 2 weapons. If they hadn't have, that's when they would have been a bit screwed. 10 though for G2, I mean, they are still a bit screwed. Technical pause actually coming in at the moment. The team speak for G2 has died.
Well, such is life. It's obviously on the same Houdini network you are, Dean.
Yeah.
Been good today.
Internet, fantastic. I dropped it twice before we started, and I think I did cut out when we were talking between maps, right?
Oh, did you? I didn't even notice.
You were the one that told me that I cut out for a second.
For a second, yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite. I mean,
didn't have a proper drop there though. Yeah, yesterday went to 4 times. And
on broadcast.
It was twice in the space of 1 map, I think. So it just wasn't my day.
Massive Fs in the chat at one stage because you were commentating a play. You're like, oh, and he goes. It's like, and we'll never know where he goes.
It happened. I was mid-sentence. I was actually commentating. Like, if it happened while you were talking, it wouldn't be the biggest of deals. At least until you stop talking, you wait like 10 seconds, and I just don't respond. You're like, what the hell's happening?
Like, Dean, hello, you here, bro? Yeah.
I think they are ready. Yeah, we're getting back into it. That was, of course, just a technical pause, but obviously with this being online, they could still have a little bit of a chat there. So it certainly could help out Copenhagen Flames. They didn't have to use their own tactical pause, which I was surprised we didn't see anyway.
Well, Copenhagen, they really need to get this 5th round on the board. It is essential for them. If not, losing the pistol and the force buy after would essentially be building a gravestone for the map. They want to punish G2 for picking Dust2. After the Inferno performance, it's certainly possible. They are struggling on the CT side. G2 could be in trouble this time, though. Well, if they actually get this boost, there we go. Boost up above the smoke, but the shot is connected. He was not traded out either. I thought Hunter might have that. Now fading in through the smoke. This is dangerous from Hunter, and as soon as he realizes that he's not going to have a safe angle around that, he just backs off, not wanting to get picked off. This time, though, G2 go in for long control, but Nodios is stuck around, and never mind. Maybe he shouldn't have. He just got deleted.
Yeah, perhaps not. I mean, now it's the long control for G2. We really haven't seen them go towards this position often at all. I think early on in one of the rounds, we did see them actually get the split in through long and short, which again is probably what we're going to see them being able to come through with right now. And that's forcing the CTs. I mean, they don't want to all have to come through the CT spawn, so they're going to begin to look to move in for that short control. So ideally, you do want Hunter to get moving forward. I mean, he may want to try and stay close on short so that he can slow that rotation down, but now as they've lost the player especially, they can't really afford to do that, because if he wasn't to come out with at least 2 kills, then they'd still be in a very awkward spot. Either way, definitely are. Kenny S over towards long with the up has a good position at least to be able to play time on that bomb, and obviously with all 4 players moving in from short right now. Oh, this nade, is this going to go right down on top of them? Oh, yeah, I actually didn't see how much damage. Not as much as I expected. I think it blew up a little bit too high, but it could help out a bit.
Yeah, it softens them up a little bit as they move forward. The AWP, Kenny almost out of lineup. He catches one eventually, but has to back off. A 1v2, the bomb ticking away. They really want this round, but they're losing players, and he's just going to get the spam now. Not on the right, not in the middle, and it looks like he's going to get the defuse. Kenny not able to land the shots. A slightly wider angle being held on that defuse, and 5 rounds for Copenhagen Flames. It's not ideal, but they can work with it. Whether they're going to manage it or not remains to be seen. We're going to have to throw things over to a quick break, but we will be right back with half number 2.
double cross them. Moving through the city like it's Gotham. They told me get one, so I got one. Stop saying you're a boss when you not one. You ain't sacrificed, nah, you ain't lost none. All over the gram like you got a bag. You ain't big dog, we ain't hear none of that. I'm in the gym looking like a running back. And you know the flow, got them coming back. Who I was in the past, I'm unattached. Only focus in this moment is bringing the summer back. Oh, respect my grind, elevate souls and I spread good vibes. Young divine, you know I gotta shine. Raise your hands for a good time. Aight.
Live until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you want it, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move.
3, 2,
Bringing
1,
summer to
drop.
you.
Oh, ready, let's go. 'Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know like I.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to half number 2. Copenhagen Flames on the T side, starting this one out with a smoke straight down towards Xbox, and we could be looking at a very quick play towards the A site.
Yeah, trying to take this fight up on short, but Jax is in position. Surprised he manages to get 2 kills out of that. He was being shot at for quite a while. Has kept them in a really good position here with still 2 players towards this A side of the map to hold down. Kenny taps away 1. The player on the bomb site being Hunter hadn't actually shown himself up until that point either, so he's able to pop out and catch one off guard. Now leaving it all on Hooksy. Spots 1 player rotating in through mid. Should now know that he's moving over towards short, and with that, could maybe presume that the second player's around there too, because they will most likely be looking to work together on this retake. A nade, a smoke, and a flash available for them too. And with no Kevlar for Hooksy, that nade could be massive. He moves off the bomb site just in time and has now spotted both of them moving forward. Needs that 1 headshot, and there it is, a quad from Hooksy. A massive pistol round for Copenhagen Flames, and one that they very much needed.
The man's doubled his kills in that round right there. First half wasn't too kind to Hooksy playing towards that B side, but evidently he's feeling it when they're on the push. Jax played took a very aggressive stance in the beginning of that round. Once the smoke goes down on short, you can be pretty sure, or at least pretty cautious, of that mid play coming through. But Jax didn't give a damn. He just went out for it anyways, took the peak, and he needed to get himself 2 kills and did exactly that. This time, the Battle of the Scouts actually sees Farley come out ahead, and he has been struggling to match up against him. These match are hit down to 34 HP, and he goes back to play on the car. A 4-man A play from G2 on the force buy, with 1 player who is Amanek over towards the B bomb site all by himself.
I mean, there's still a lot of time here, so we don't know where Copenhagen Flames are going to end this round. They are for now looking to finally get their short control for themselves, just as the player who was holding it with the deagle as well backs down, so they will find out without any contact coming in. But yeah, as you said, right now it is the overall kind of A stack coming in. They've now begun to rotate Hunter back down. Kenny, who was watching that cross with the scout, has moved over towards long to join his teammates as well, just as they begin to go forward, so that could be awkward. But he is still able to connect 1 shot so far, almost connecting on the second, looking to input, or rather output as much damage as he can to allow those pistols to have a bit of an easier time. And with the flashes, they've actually crossed up close now. Next in a very dangerous position where he could perhaps have some impact with his P250. You can see that he is not wanting to give any opportunities to these pistols, so they plant this safe and move back to short. But it's a 5-on-5. I mean, there's still a chance here for G2 to get something done, at least to make it a costly round.
The smoking across lets them to the site, but Refresh spamming away. Hunter can't hit the head, but Refresh obliges and does it himself. Another on the board with a 3K for Refresh. He is shutting this down just by his lonesome. His teammates tucked in on short and Gandalf ready to swing if they do lose control, and as time ticks away, it's looking like this won't be possible for G2 at all. No kits in play, and Refresh, he bails. He's not going to get the ace today. Good luck saving those weapons. Kaboom! As the CT side disappear, despite the frags that they had, nothing saved over, and that damage isn't too substantial for Copenhagen Flames. In a round like that, you don't mind losing 2 players to the force buy, because this is where you come into an eco. Although I guess because they've lost 2 players, they can't afford to lose anyone right here. Like, they're going to have to invest relatively heavily. Refresh. No money. Nodios is low. Farlig. There we go. He's low. I was trying to, like, calculate that in my head. Is he really not going to buy anything? Like, I guess it could work out, but pretty risky. Oh, he goes in for the AK in the end.
Cutting it close. Maybe he just has, like, buy binds and just hits them as he's running out of spawn. But, yeah, I mean, still lacking a little bit himself, not having the nades like you would hope for. Overall, the buy being a little bit weaker with that Mac 10, as you said. But up against the full eco, it won't be an issue, obviously, in this round. They're going to be taking a little bit slower. They'll look to try and feed the Mac 10 of Queenix if possible, and that's what G2 will be avoiding. Ideally, they want to be dropping to the rifles, if any. One Deagle being upgraded, a nade in play alongside a flash. If these are used perfectly, there definitely could be something done in this round here for them. They are stacking up around mid/B, and again with the short control coming in, it doesn't really mean that they're going to commit towards A, but it gives them the option to do so, at least there on the Copenhagen Flames side. So we'll see what they do once they do begin to kind of scout out a little bit. Still plenty of time. I don't think G2 are really going to budge from their positions either. I don't think they want to get too aggressive unless they know that that commitment's coming in. And, I mean, once they do go forward, yeah, Nodio's here in lower tunnels. In theory, a player that they could potentially catch and steal a rifle away from. Unfortunately, he gets that first kill and it's not really followed up too quickly, and with that, he has been able to escape back to the safety of shore.
Fading away, and Queenix is the one I would expect to stay aggressively on short, but he's already out on long, watching for their flank, so didn't look like he'll be getting any reward for his Mac 10 as G2 barrel forward. They're mollied off, and time's just going to be ticked away. Still costing them utility. You'll notice Copenhagen Flames have got 0 left, so overall they've invested a lot more into this round than may meet the eye. However, I think G2 are happy about that. Look at this, Queenix is about to be fed as well. Maybe not. They decide not to push. With the armor in play, he's not going to rush outdoors and give himself away to the CT side. There was no point in playing overly aggressive and getting taken down. Because now he can invest into an AK, and you can see that it won't cost him that much. He will still have some buffer of economy. With utility reinvestment, you're talking about... Oh, going for the AWP and swapping it over. Okay.
Yeah.
To Farley or to Nodios?
Nodios has the long spawn, so they'll give it back afterwards. Yeah, he's going to see if he can find this quick pick. There's 2 players looking like they'll move in this direction. Are they going to be facing it actively is the question. It is just obviously the rifle initially. The off then ready to follow up. Also with the molly going down. Yeah, they're not really looking to fight that too aggressively. The CT's just wanting to confirm that long control. But slowly but surely, Copenhagen Flames, I mean, they've got the first 3 rounds here on this half. If they can find this open in gun round, then the comeback really does become a reality. At that point, we'd likely be looking at 10-10. So this is a big round for G2. In terms of the nades that they have available, not amazing. They already have used a few early on. But for the moment, Copenhagen Flames not putting a lot of pressure really on the map. Just that molly to ensure that no one could peek the doors as they get that short control. So G2 not really being forced to use their own nade. The smoke, I believe, being thrown out towards tunnel. So they are beginning to run a little bit low. That could be an issue. I mean, considering there's still 1 minute and 5 seconds for sure.
The time ticking away. G2 are locked into the spot with Kenny on the car. He goes out to just check long really quickly. I think he'll be moving back to spot out short in just a moment. They've conceded all control there. The smoke will fade very, very soon. And Copenhagen... Okay, they do actually have a second smoke there. Does refresh it? Quickly scan through. So they've got 2 smokes if they wanted to execute up on short towards the A bomb site, but it looks like instead they're thinking about dropping back, moving into B, possibly through a mid-split, which is where Hunter could get them into a lot of trouble. But there's going to be 3 players running out this door in just a second. He picks up the first swing for more, and Hunter with 3. He's got the AK, still challenged up close. Not good for the frag on Hooksy, but that's where Jax comes in, right up behind them. And what a round by Hunter. Great positioning. An amazing ability to follow through on not 1, not 2, but all 3 of those players.
Yeah, and fantastic control on that M4A1S there to get those 3 headshots for himself. I mean, a big round. As I pointed out, it was extremely important for G2 to get that open and gun round to find something here early on their CT side before it could start getting out of control, kind of like we seen back on Inferno. And they find that they do so in a clean fashion as well, only actually dropping the 1 player, so they have a really strong buy still coming into this round, obviously. On the other hand, I mean, the buy's a little bit weaker for at least Queenix over on the Copenhagen Flames side. He had dropped the op in the previous round, so limited to the Deagle now. I was thinking that maybe they were going to rush quickly out mid there. If they had, that would have been perfect. They have a player in tunnels as well. They could have split onto B with only 1 player, but not really going to be the case. They were looking to see maybe if they could spot someone getting aggressive around those mid doors early on. See if perhaps there was short aggression coming in too. And again, just a standard default kind of coming in from the T side. 2 players poking around tunnels though. They might look to try and actually pick up a kill with that op. I think with Farlig already being tagged though, they don't really want to risk it.
Leaving out the tunnels now, Copenhagen Flames. 3 rounds between them. This is definitely a workable position to play from. The G2 slowing down on the defense, as I suppose you would expect. We mentioned before, when you've got a team that's massively favored in a series, just on an individual level, the T side is where they can come ahead. Whereas now Copenhagen Flames take these fights as a team, although it didn't help them versus Hunter. In the previous round, Jax is going to look to stop them again. Hooked up close on the dumpster. He hears the steps. This is ambitious from Copenhagen Flames. Going out first. Phoenix baited the shots, and Hooksy good to trade. They've lost a lot of health on Farlig and Hooksy because of that fight.
Yeah, but against the op on the bomb site, if they can trade this 1-for-1 even, then that's not a bad position to be in. The issue is they are kind of being slowed down here by the nades and such that are coming in. That's given time for the rotation there. You see Nexa in the spawn up close, and the smokes are not going to last all that much longer either, so they will have to get a move on. NES just on the bomb site itself, not able to do anything. Actually gets wallbanged through the corner of the box. Refresh in the meantime has also found one. Fortunately, Hunter again does step up for a frag on short, giving them a fighting chance here to try and at least attempt this retake, especially with that kill from Amanek. Now you see the 2 remaining players for Copenhagen Flames are pretty much dead. I mean, they're barely hanging on to life. So this is certainly achievable. Amanek closing in the distance with the op, but actually jumping up above the scope. Hooksy has the headshot, and Hunter, I mean, considering the economy that they actually have available, if he doesn't get a kill within a couple of seconds, then I was going to say he could even consider a save. But as he peeks into the op, he will go down. A 9th round being found for Copenhagen Flames. Sure, they lose that opening gun round, but they instantly return, and you can see, obviously, G2's economy off the back of that is not in a spot where everyone can afford to buy. They could maybe scrape one together. You'd see Nexa definitely on a weaker weapon. Kenny, in theory, could go for an M4 and body armor. Jax could drop him an op if they wanted to as well. So, I mean, they could scrape something together, but considering they have the 11-9 lead, I think taking that 1 eco is certainly the safer approach. Just focus on getting the strongest possible buy round into that next one. But we'll see what they go for.
A 3 M4 is an AWP, and limited utility is an option. And it looks like that's what they're going to go for, indeed. Swapping over the AWP to Kenny. They've got 2 M4s out already, presumably Amanek in with another, and Nexa on a pistol. It is a mixed bag, definitely. You look at even the smokes they've got, only 3 of them. They're limited on mollies. So the nades are not where they want to be. I personally would have preferred to see them take an eco in that position and come in with a really strong buy in the next. But they have all been fragging out. Maybe they believe that this is where they need to make a stop before the terrorists build up any money. There is a risk-reward there for sure. Moving in towards the B site early on, Copenhagen Flames have flashes over and a blitz out, but they're lined up inside the smoke, and he can't see a thing, but he still gets one and lights 2 players down to being 1 hit.
Flash goes in, actually doesn't blind them up, so that allows the return there from Nodios. And Farlig, he was holding that cross from the spawn. He is able to pick 1 player off. Kenny spending a bit of time to see if he can spot out that upper, but obviously at that point, Farlig is just like, nah, I'm going to go join up with my teammates. We see a frag then being found from those players on the bomb site, and Kenny's done, he has to back away. This gun round, this buy is not going to work out for G2, and off the back of losing this one, then they definitely do have to take the eco in the next. They get 2,900, so there wouldn't even be enough for the drops to come in. So we're very likely looking at this scoreline being tied up, unless this op is saved over and can manage to pull off some miraculous plays here in this next round. Copenhagen Flames, I mean, they won the first map. Obviously, you guys can see that at the top of the screen, but if you are only joining and didn't notice that, you might be a little bit shocked. It was actually a very one-sided map as well. G2 came out looking a lot better in the beginning of this one, but since swapping to the T side, we are definitely seeing a resurgence in form from Copenhagen Flames.
Now, this is a really bad position for G2. I mean, to move back from here is going to require a lot of rounds. A lot of very non-favorable ones as well. They begin this with the AWP and pistols. That's likely going to be equalized up. Then their economy's already in tatters. Losing 1 round would put them to an eco, and Copenhagen Flames can fly away with a lot. Whereas the T's are going to be building up at least some economy coming into this one. You would imagine they won't lose too many players. Once Kenny S gives away where he is with the AWP, that should be pretty much the end game. Hitting the other side or dealing with him, indeed.
right now, Kenny could even make that off guard. I don't think he realized there's already a player out. Yeah, as soon as that shot is rang off, Refresh pops out to capitalize on it. It got a little bit shaky, but he does finish it through the edge of the wall. Right now, one player on B. There's a player who's also coming straight through that CT smoke being Hunter, and he does get a double with the CZ. Falls back in through the smoke without even taking any damage, and delays that push quite a lot because the bomb has to be retrieved. Nexa will find, Lucy will find it rather. But as I said, wasting a little bit of time. It's even given the ability there for the player who's around towards A to rotate in and join up now with his teammates and retrieve some of those weapons. Oh, that flash was perfect. It doesn't get the kill, but it does some damage and finds info that there is still 2 players moving in from this position. But yeah, no, at this point, I think they just back away and save. Having a double lop setup on an AK here, that is incredible to be able to actually carry over.
Well, they're walking out of this round with much more than they came in with, that's for sure, and more than you would have imagined they would get out of it. So saving these weapons is definitely going to be the priority for them, as well as the fact that they killed 2 players. It means Copenhagen Flames don't have that cash built up that we were talking about, and no longer are G2 in that rough position financially where they're a fair bit behind. This is manageable now. And on 11-11, Copenhagen Flames tying up on Dust2 versus G2 Esports. Call a timeout. This round has to be thought about very, very precisely. They need to know what they're doing coming into it because this is the turning point for the game. Should Copenhagen Flames win it, G2 would have a weaker economy, most likely go in for an eco or 2 weaker weapons, which is still going to help out. And from there, Copenhagen Flames can really take the lead, plus some. G2 Esports, on the other hand, they can't really afford to lose this. They're investing so much, even with the weapons saved over. They've got a double up setup, which can change the game massively. And they need to stop Copenhagen Flames before that terrorist bankroll gets out of control.
Yeah, thankfully it's not in that position yet. But I mean, if the rounds don't start going in favor of G2, that'll be the least of their worries once we see Copenhagen Flames getting closer to the finish line. So again, another extremely important round here, as you would expect from G2. Straight through the Molotov. That was a little bit crazy by Refresh. He tried to catch the time, and to be fair, nearly did. Sadly, it doesn't work out as he goes down, and then Kenny S going to be able to immediately take down Hooksy, who did at least attempt to try and follow it up. So, I mean, they don't really get too much there for their efforts of trying to take the short control. Not only did they lose 2 players, but they also don't actually manage to obtain it. So, yeah, a really good start in this round here for G2. One that Copenhagen Flames shouldn't be able to recover. But we've seen some crazy rounds already, so who knows? Fireleague does have a small gap in this smoke as well. I believe Hunter's waiting for a flash to come in. Yeah, just playing anti-flash. It's not going to be him getting flashed and waiting to see instead if Copenhagen Flames move forward with one. In theory, he could get caught off guard because of that, but they do also have another player helping him out. Or at least did, I believe, back on the corner. Yeah, Jackson now moving in. The flash goes forward, and despite not being blinded, Fireleague was forced into the corner. I think he was slightly caught maybe by it, but he definitely wasn't full-on blind. But either way, this round obviously continuing to spiral out of control for Copenhagen Flames. And as we pointed out, the economy really isn't that great over on the T side. So losing this round could put them in a bit of an awkward spot. They may consider an eco, because as you can see, a couple players don't have the money to buy. And that is also the ideal way for G2 to get back on the board. It's to take a perfectly clean round.
Oh yeah, I mean, they've now got money in the bank, plus the ability to rock on up into this one without having to invest anything. So it should build up even further. But Copenhagen Flames, actually, they get a buyout. I didn't think they were going to go for this. I was with you on that one, Dean. I thought we're going to see a nice weaker buy from them, possibly the eco with the 2 players being low. And that's G2's position to build up the economy, but no.
High risk, high reward. If it works, it's fantastic. But if it doesn't, then they're going to be in trouble, because G2 will be very likely bringing up to 14.
And G2 have already got money built up, so even winning this one for Copenhagen Flames isn't as fantastic as it could have been. It'll leave G2 in with a full buy in the next round still, and fighting for it. All it does really, if they win, is stops G2 from flying ahead in the lead, right? Fiscally, that is. You need to see Copenhagen Flames take this one, or the game is more or less already a foregone conclusion. A 3-man stack towards B as Copenhagen Flames take aggressive mid-control, and G2 have got a read on what's going on. They think it's going to be a B hit, but CPH haven't necessarily committed yet. The bomb left on top mid. They've got short control. They know they've got tunnels, and one player pushed out and tucked in on bottom mid. With a player watching for the long push and tunnels, they can go wherever the hell they want.
Yeah, they're not really in a rush to make that commitment happen, but they don't have a lot of time either. I mean, they're using some smokes here to try and bait out some presence on long. You probably won't expect. Yeah, the up shot fires off. It takes the attention. Jax, he doesn't have an easy kill, because he was also, I believe, maybe a little bit blinded. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but he eventually does get the frag at this point, realizing there's no one else around that position. And Amanek has spotted that they have begun to advance forward on mid, so it is going to be the split onto this stacked up B bomb site. So the CTs are in a pretty solid spot. Amanek connecting an off shot to take down that first player and somehow staying alive. Actually coming out with a hat trick for himself. I don't know how that works out from behind the box, but whatever. 13-11, we said if Copenhagen Flames were to lose that round, it puts them in a very difficult spot. G2 will very likely have their 14th round here for free, and at that point, as Copenhagen Flames do eventually come back onto the bye, they'll pretty much need to have a flawless T-side if they don't want to be fighting for an overtime. They can't really afford to drop in on a round. And even here, can't really afford to upgrade any pistols, so this gives a fantastic opportunity for G2, who have already got a pretty solid economy, to bolster that up even more and just keep it in a position where they'll probably be fine to buy for the rest of the game, or at least for a few rounds.
Well, the Flames looking to Glock this one out. Just a train through middle, looking for contact. They've been spotted from afar. And the B players know that an avalanche is about to come through. They're not getting a whole lot done from behind. They lose one. Amanek being tagged up as well, taken down. That's significant damage already done. Bomb plants. They've got an op and an AK. Hold on. This might be a much more winnable round than it looks like. Rushing through the smoke. Hunter, that's a mistake, and Farlig punishes him. AWP looking for a frag on Hooksy. He's making noise. He's telling them, don't you come in for this. You don't want to fight it. The op makes it over to tunnels. Farlig safe behind that smoke. Goes in for another AK rather than reload. Still has to reload that one, unfortunately. Oh, down goes Hooksy. They're spamming. They know where Farlig is. He catches Jax out the window, though. And the swing about to come through from Kenny S. He's got an AWP, and he's got no head. They've won it. They've lost to Glocks. Oh, no, G2. Definitely get the clown makeup on now.
Oh, God. Do you have your laugh track? I think that deserves a laugh track.
Oh, I do, actually. Hold on. That's what you get for losing. I feel mean now. But they saw the Glocks coming through mid. Both A players dropped to shoot at them. Both B players know it's coming through, and they lose. Oh, no.
That's heartbreaking. Farlig even had a chance to maybe pick one off crossing mid. He spotted two of them making their way over. He did see both of them. Oh, that is just heartbreaking. That has given a massive opening back into this game here for Copenhagen Flames somehow. I mean, there's still a chance, as we had said, G2 had built up a relatively strong economy themselves. But it could be run down. I mean, losing this round would leave at least one player in an awkward spot for the buy in the next. So some opportunities definitely. Copenhagen Flames can chain together a couple. They could definitely still run away and take this lead here for themselves and take the 2-0 potentially. But taking this gun round a little bit slower. Again, going back to kind of that default short control, slowing things down and waiting to see what exactly is happening with that CT defense.
I'm still shook after that previous round. I can't believe G2 just got clocked. Doubt they're going to be all too happy about that. The money on Amanek is low after that double op setup, but deploying this again, I think it's a little bit more efficient against rifles. You don't expect the same kind of 0 to 100 speed from them. 45 seconds left. Flames, they've got short control, and this pretty much sivens them into playing in towards the A side. The smoke comes down on long, on the corner, and deeper. But there's two players towards pit. That's going to be very difficult for Queenix to manage. She got shut down from a close play before. Kenny S on the site, mollies them out. He's got one player out in the open and didn't see him. Hooksy was too fast, swinging around that corner. Ferrari peeking. Queenix spots one. The flick is good, and he does decent damage to him. The bomb planted in short control, still theirs. And now, oh, that's a dangerous fight to take. Especially with the long players still being around, and I love Nodios just pops up close. He's like, ah, screw the long players, I don't care.
What you say, Mitch? What did you say, man? Oh, that has almost forced them into a save. If Jax can get this kill from long, then perhaps they can move forward, but you can see already, obviously, Amanek had backed away towards B. The player that was initially following Jax up for that long peak is on 15 health, so Nexus is like, nah, I don't want anything to do with the retake either. So they're going to have to give over this 13th round. We're going to see the score tied up. And it's mostly off the back of that previous round with the Glocks, but obviously keeping it up strong here, Copenhagen Flames, chaining together those two rounds. We said it was necessary. But with these weapons being saved, we'll still actually see a really strong buy from G2. So they still have to keep fighting for this one. It's going to remain competitive for the moment. If they were to win this one, I think at that point, then G2 would maybe have to take the eco. Again, though, with the loss bonus now rolling, depending on if they can save weapons and such, it probably wouldn't be an issue. And even then, they do have a bit of money. So, I mean, a tough spot. Yeah, Copenhagen Flames, they need to keep this up. G2, though, feeling the pressure, too. They do call in for a quick tactical pause. Only their second of the match so far. I mean, kind of makes sense. The first half was pretty much fully under their control. There was only a few moments where we've seen those stray rounds being picked up by Copenhagen Flames.
Having it tied up again after 11-11 is a godsend for Copenhagen Flames. I know that's a different org, but they're so happy to have... Like, this is a lifeline you do not get every day. Not at all. G2 should at least be leading on a, like, 14-12 scoreline at this point. Maybe even close to that 15, but instead Copenhagen can genuinely make this happen. They've got a good chance. They can win this one here. Potentially closing it out. Going out for long control early on. It's a different approach than usual, and it doesn't work initially, getting blinded. But luckily, Refresh isn't being challenged. Jack's playing a very passive angle down in the pit. We've seen this from Kenny S quite a bit as he takes the kill. And a spray from Hunter. He loses a lot of health. That nade could be good, though. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm surprised he got so aggressive on that fight there. They let Jax take the first contact. They had him spot Sonone come up on top of the pit over him. So the fact that he did swing out and end up taking some damage is a little bit weird. But overall, the round's still quite easily working out for G2. They've got themselves into the 4-on-2. I'm not going to count out Queenix and Farlig because these definitely are two of the standout players. And right now, Farlig, if he could get this pick on B, it could be the opening that they need. Unfortunately, rotation already coming in of a second player. The Molotov leaves them completely screwed. And he did also end up getting blinded. So Queenix left in the 1-on-4. I do not have high hopes for him. And unfortunately, losing this round here is going to leave them in a spot where they do have a shaky economy onto two of those players. I mean, Nodios and Hooksy have nowhere near enough to buy, so in theory they could consider the eco for overtime. But I think a buy is probably a little bit more likely since Farlig especially can get out the AWP. Here's a pause. It's coming to those final few rounds, both teams realizing how much this means.
That is a very big botched attempt on long, though. One at a time, they're getting torn apart. The spams through the smoke, the nade, but the fact that Jax is left unchecked for so long, and we've seen from Copenhagen Flames in the past the ability to throw out those aggressive long smokes, not just on the corner, but the second one swinging slightly wider, allowing them to full peek into pit, but they didn't go for it this time. And it's odd that they went for it when there was only one player, when Queenix was solo pushing out long, but when the whole team is going, they throw the one and let themselves get picked off one again and again. Oh, they know they've choked. It's okay, but luckily it's not too late. They can get CPR. That's not what you do for choking, but, you know, whatever. It works. I'm not a good person to have around in an emergency.
Just don't ask me for help if you need a doctor, please.
He's got a broken leg. Give him CPR!
Farlig, though, with this up, being one of the few weapons that they do have available, or at least one of the couple main rifles that they have in play, including the AK, he is trying to see if he can find some sort of early pick. Unfortunately, again, the Molotov being thrown down does actually force him off the angle. That was what nicely played. Amanek didn't want to cross over beforehand in case the op was already posted up, and by the time Farlig comes back in for the repeat, this time Amanek is prepared. So an open kill going over towards G2 as well as obviously the weapons favoring them. The op obviously being retrieved, at least they're in the hands of Refresh now. But on the back foot massively, if Copenhagen Flames do lose this round, they're going to be on an even worse investment in the next by far to try and actually fight for overtime.
G2 feeling confident. They've got a 3-man stack towards this A site. Molly down, Hooksy on the cross. Oh, wow, he gets Hunter. The op not finding the kill, but the tag. Eventually finishing Queenix off. Hooksy's low as well. And Kenny S, he's continuing to aggress. They expect it. They must have seen him jump up above that smoke. And that's a big mistake. I don't disagree with the play, but the fact that he got seen, that's what completely ruins it. Either that or Copenhagen Flames have got the biggest brains. And a 2v3 now to try and recover this. G2 should just be saving.
I believe they are. I mean, money's actually pretty good. They could go for it. But obviously, then you also would be risking that if you do lose that next gun round, then you will definitely have no money in the next round. If they save over these two, they could secure a little bit of extra money. The chance of taking that 2-on-3 retake was relatively low anyway. Obviously, they weren't going at this point anymore. But yeah, they immediately decided the save was the better idea for them. So the op and the M4 carried over. Copenhagen Flames going to live with 3 for themselves. Unfortunately, I don't think Nodios can upgrade his Galil to a stronger weapon.
Saving
Big
this,
find.
saving the op is also very good because, so in a normal circumstance, they'd probably go for that with that kind of money left. But this late on in the game, and considering they like to have the double op setup out, I think it makes a big difference if you're able to save one of those forward. It minimizes your investment massively coming into the next, and you can see that.
Especially if you want to.
But that's what I mean, right? So with Kenny has taken the op out here, their money actually isn't great for the next if they lose this one. So had they not have saved those 2 weapons, if they went for it in a low equity situation, they probably lose. And then the double op setup here could come out, but they would be crippled if they lost it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, their economy wouldn't be perfect for a buy in the next round, but they have the money left over, at least some security. Obviously, their main focus being to go ahead and finish this out right now, 16-14 ideally. As we see another pause coming in here. Copenhagen Flames deciding they need a little bit more time to go ahead and discuss what exactly they're going to be doing. Their reinvestment should be fine. There was a Galil lying around. I don't know if they actually want to keep that in play or not. In theory, they could upgrade to an AK instead, because Refresh could buy one himself and Nadios could too. Does he need a helmet? Oh, he'd need a helmet, so that would cost him all of his money, so I think he may stick to the weaker weapon. Other than that, though, no real weaknesses in this investment. So here we go, getting back into it. We're going to see who's going to be able to find the control and who's able to snatch away that map point first. Or in the case of Copenhagen Flames, can they reach series point?
Been a hell of a long road. G2 struggling on Inferno, moving on to Dust. They can't even close this one out cleanly. Again, it's one of the risks associated with picking the map. Copenhagen Flames have had the T side from heaven, winning out a full eco just with Glocks and the opening tool. Amanek getting blinded on the corner. That was a perfect flash from Farlig, proving that he's not just a good opper, but a good support as well. Why is Refresh pushing up there? He must have thought the smoke was a little deeper than it was. Luckily, Farlig is trading back. Oh no, and they're peeking with a flash out. That's not the play. Next up, 1 HP. Down goes Kenny S. Every time, Copenhagen Flames are throwing away the advantages and pulling them right back.
What the hell is happening? It's just constantly trading in either direction. Jax picks up a massive double kill that has actually pulled this round back in favor of G2. Nodios is left alone. Besides, he wants to work with the AWP. Yeah, we'll eventually trade back to the rifle. I mean, it could have depended, especially how he wants to play the after plant here. Bomb plant should be easy enough. Going to put it down for short. Having the Molotov there does at least delay the CTs from being able to rotate in quickly, but he decides against going in that direction. Instead, setting himself up to take that fight on towards long, and it was Nexa on 9 health. He only needed 1 to the body, but Nexa just comes through and double dinks him instantly. G2 managed to get up to 15. That round was just constantly back and forth. I had no idea who was going to win it up until the last moment.
Massive miscalculation by Copenhagen Flames, though. As they went forward on short, I counted still 2 smokes in play, as Jax just stands in the open, takes them down one at a time. It completely negate the possibility of a player still being around that area, or at least of them being able to do any damage. That was their chance to close the game out. Right there, it was a 3v2. They had a utility to get the bomb site and win the round, and instead they go in, balls out, and unfortunately, chances out of winning this one. So 15-14. They've got to bring it into an overtime. They're naded heavily to start this, and this is going to be a tilt factor for Copenhagen Flames now, surely.
Yeah, no, this has to be a tough spot to be in mentally at this point. I mean, the buy is weak. They've already taken quite a bit of substantial damage to kick this round off, not making it any easier for themselves. For the moment, though, I mean, with the setup, 3 players around that A-bomb site, if they are to focus on towards mid and try and split up towards B, in theory, that could be a decent option. I don't know if that is the case, though. Just the Molotov down at the doors, not wanting to succumb to kind of the same stack around those doors as they did in that previous round as they move up towards short. So they should be able to find this control quite easily for themselves, at least. But I mean, with the weapons they have available, even moving up through short is going to be tough. They're really going to need that AK of Farlig to step up and find those openings for them pretty much alongside the Deagles until they close into distance, at least. With that nade.
Oh, not another one, man. They've not even seen anyone. They're just getting tagged up by utility usage on G2 again and again. The Molly. Oh, that could be good for kills, even.
Yeah, Farlig's done. Kenny with the headshot on the up, just to be sure. Molly. Just rattles off a shot. Next is not being checked for two, so he hasn't shown himself at all yet. He's just been waiting patiently and will eventually be awarded for it. 16 to 14. What a crazy map.